Aaron moved carefully between the tall, silent trees. The forest on this new planet was unlike anything on Earth. The air was cool, the light soft and green as it passed through the leaves. Strange flowers bloomed on the ground, opening and closing slowly like they were breathing. Somewhere far away, a bird-like creature called out, its song rising and falling in a pattern he did not understand. He stopped near a large stone covered in moss. Small symbols were carved into it, shapes he had been studying for weeks. His job at the Human Research Outpost was simple: collect samples, take notes, and record anything that might help understand the history of this place. But Aaron was not just a scientist. He was also a lover of languages. Ever since he had first seen these strange markings, he wanted to know what they meant. He traced his fingers over the carvings and whispered a few words he had learned from them. A soft sound came from behind him, the crunch of leaves. Aaron froze. He slowly turned his head. A figure stood among the trees. She was tall, slender, and unlike any person he had ever seen. Her skin had a pale silver tone, catching the green light of the forest. Her hair was long and dark, falling over her shoulders, like smooth ribbons. Her eyes, they were bright silver, almost like the carvings on the stones. She looked both strong and delicate, as if she belonged to the forest itself. They stared at each other for a long moment. Aaron's heart beat faster. This was no hologram or picture in a file. This was a living alien woman. She stepped forward, her movement graceful but cautious. Her clothes were made from woven leaves and soft fibers, decorated with tiny pieces of crystal. She stopped a few steps away. Watching him closely, Aaron did not know what to say. So he tried the words again, the ones he had learned from the old carvings. Her eyes widened. She gasped, as if he had just said something impossible. "You speak my language," she said. Her voice soft but trembling. Her words were not perfect in sound, but Aaron understood them clearly. It was the same language he had been studying, only alive in her voice. Hearing it was like seeing the carvings come to life. He nodded slowly. "I learned from the stones," he replied, using the same language but with his simple, broken knowledge of it. She took a step back, her expression a mix of shock and fear. Her hands trembled slightly. "Who are you?" she asked. "I am Aaron, from Human Outpost," he said, still using her language. She seemed to think about his words, her eyes never leaving his face. The forest was silent round them, as if listening. "You should not speak these words," she said finally. "It is not safe." Aaron frowned. "Why not?" She glanced round the trees, as if someone might be listening. "Because my people, they do not trust outsiders, and no outsider can speak our tongue. Until now." Her voice was quiet, but Aaron could hear the warning in it. "I only want to learn," he said gently. "I mean no harm." She studied him for a moment, then let out a slow breath. "My name is Mira," she said. Aaron smiled slightly. "Mira," he repeated. She looked at him strangely, as if trying to decide something. "You learn from the stones," she said. "But the stones are old. Their words are not for everyone. They were left in the open." Aaron replied softly. "I thought they were history." "They are more than history," Mira said. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "They are warnings." Aaron's curiosity grew. "Warnings of what?" She hesitated. "I cannot say here. It is not safe." He noticed her eyes flicking to the shadows between the trees again. Her body was tense, ready to move at any moment. "Come with me," she said suddenly. "We must leave this place." Aaron hesitated. His training told him not to follow unknown beings into unknown places. But something about Mira's voice, it was not threatening. It was urgent, almost protective. He nodded. They began to walk deeper into the forest. Mira moved quickly but silently, as if she knew every step. Aaron followed, careful not to disturb the ground too much. The trees grew closer together, the light dimmer. He could hear the soft sound of running water somewhere ahead. "You said your people do not trust humans," Aaron said quietly. "They do not trust anyone outside our kind," Mira replied. "Long ago, we lived in the open. We spoke with other worlds, but things happened. Now we stay hidden." "What things?" Aaron asked. She glanced at him, then looked away. Stories, battles, losses, you will understand later. They walked in silence for a while. Aaron noticed more of the strange carvings on stones and tree trunks. Some looked newer, others very old. Each one felt like a piece of a puzzle he could almost see. Finally, they reached a small clearing where a stream flowed over smooth rocks. Mira stopped and looked around carefully. This is safe for now, she said. Aaron took a deep breath. The air here felt cleaner, lighter. He could hear the gentle rush of water and the distant call of a forest creature. You still have not told me why speaking your language is dangerous, he said. Mira crouched by the stream, running her fingers through the water. Because our words hold our history, and our history holds our fears. If you speak our tongue, some will think you are part of that history. Some will think you bring it back. Aaron thought about that. I only wanted to understand. Sometimes understanding is the most dangerous thing, Mira said softly. They were quiet for a while. Then Mira looked at him again. You are not like the others I have seen from far away. You listen. I want to know the truth, Aaron said. She studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Then maybe I will tell you, but not today. Today, you must return to your people, and you must not speak my language where others can hear. Aaron agreed. I promise. Mira stood and looked toward the trees. We will meet again. I will find you. Aaron wanted to ask when and where, but before he could, she stepped back into the forest shadows. In only a few seconds, she was gone, as if the forest had swallowed her. He stood there, the sound of the stream in his ears, wondering if what had just happened was real. But the memory of her voice, speaking in that ancient tongue, was too sharp to be a dream. Aaron turned and began the walk back to the outpost. He did not know it yet, but that short meeting had just changed everything for him, for Mira, and maybe for both their worlds. For the next days, Aaron could not stop thinking about the meeting in the forest. He kept replaying Mira's voice in his mind, her soft, careful words, and the way she had looked around as if danger might appear at any moment. He sat in the research outpost's small library, pretending to review geological data. In reality, his thoughts were far away among the green shadows of the forest. The other researchers were busy with their own tasks and didn't notice his distraction. On the third morning, Aaron decided to return to the moss-covered stone where he had first met her. He left early, carrying only a small field pack, a recorder, and a notebook. The forest was quiet, except for the rustle of leaves in the cool wind. He moved slowly, listening for any sound that didn't belong. When he reached the stone, he found a small object resting on top, a thin strip of woven fiber with a single crystal bead at the center. It was simple but clearly made by hand. Aaron picked it up, feeling its light weight. A voice spoke from the shadows. You came back. Aaron turned to see Mira stepping from between two trees. Her eyes caught the morning light, silver and calm, but still guarded. I said I would find you, she added. Aaron held up the woven strip. This is yours. She nodded. It is a sign for you to wait here. I was watching. You were watching me. Mira tilted her head slightly. It is safer that way. I must be sure you are alone. Aaron slipped the strip carefully into his pack. You said last time that speaking your language is dangerous. I don't understand why. She walked closer until they were only a few steps apart. It is dangerous because our words carry our past. To know them is to hold a piece of. U.S. outsiders are not meant to hold that piece. Aaron thought about her choice of words. But I'm not here to take anything from your people. I just want to learn. Mira gave him a long, unreadable look. Many have said that before. Not all spoke the truth. There was silence for a moment. A bird-like call echoed in the distance. Finally, she said, "Walk with me. I will tell you something, but only a little." They walked side by side, following a narrow path between tall ferns. The sunlight shifted above, turning the air golden in some places and deep green in others. Mira spoke quietly. A long time ago, before I was born, my people lived in open cities. We spoke with visitors from other worlds, even humans. There was trade and stories and peace. But then came a war with a great enemy. We fought side by side with others. We won. But the cost was high. What kind of enemy? Aaron asked. Mira shook her head. Not now. That story is too heavy for this day. She stopped beside a tall tree with deep carvings in its bark. These marks tell part of that time. Look, Aaron studied the symbols. They were more complex than the ones he had seen before. But he recognized some shapes. He ran his fingers over them and quietly sounded out a few words. Mira's eyes widened slightly. You can read this, only parts, Aaron admitted. But it says something about danger returning. Her expression grew tense. Yes, that is why we hide. We believe the enemy may come again one day. And if outsiders know our language, they may also know our secrets and lead danger to us. Aaron understood now why she had been afraid. Then why talk to me at all? Because you speak with respect, Mira said simply. You do not twist our words. You try to understand them as they are. They continued walking until they reached a small clearing where sunlight fell on a ring of flat stones. Mira sat on one and motioned for Aaron to sit across from her. She pulled something from a pouch at her side. A thin piece of metal engraved with the same kind of symbols. This is old, she said. It belonged to my grandmother. She told me to keep it safe. Aaron leaned closer, studying the engraving. The patterns seemed to match both the carvings in the forest and the ones on the moss-covered stone. Where they had met, it looks like a map, he said slowly. Mira's eyes narrowed. You see that? Yes, these curves look like river lines. And these small marks, they could be settlement places. She held the piece tighter in her hand. Few could read it, even among my people. If it is a map, it may show places long forgotten. Aaron felt a mix of excitement and caution. Mira, if this is a map to something important, it might also be a target for those who wish you harm. That is why I do not show it to anyone, she said. A sudden sound broke their focus. A faint mechanical hum from somewhere above the trees. Mira's head snapped up. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Hide. They slipped behind the largest tree, staying in its deep shadow. A dark, disc-shaped drone floated slowly above the clearing. It moved with deliberate, searching patterns, scanning the ground below. Aaron's pulse quickened. That's not from my outpost, he whispered. Mira gave him a sharp look, pressing a finger to her lips. They stayed still until the drone passed, disappearing into the distance. When it was gone, Mira exhaled slowly. They are looking for something or someone. Do you think they were following us? Aaron asked. I do not know, she said. But it means we must be careful. We cannot meet here again. Then where? She thought for a moment. There's a stream that runs close to the large stone where you found my sign. Follow it west until you see 3 white trees together. I will meet you there in 3 days. Aaron nodded. I'll be there. Mira stood, her expression serious. Do not speak my language where others can hear, and tell no one about me. I promise, Aaron said. She gave a small nod and stepped back into the forest, as before. Her presence seemed to blend with the trees until she was gone. Aaron began the walk back to the outpost. His mind was full of questions about the map, the enemy from the past, and the drone that had appeared at just the wrong time. When he reached the safety of the outpost walls, he looked again at the woven strip she had left for him, the crystal. He caught the light, flashing faintly. He wondered if, in 3 days, he would learn the rest of Mira's story, or if the danger she feared would reach them first. 3 days later, Aaron left the outpost before sunrise. The forest was still and quiet, wrapped in a faint mist. His boots pressed softly into the damp ground as he made his way toward the large moss-covered stone. The air smelled fresh, mixed with the faint sweetness of blooming flowers. As Mira had told him, he followed the stream west. The water whispered over rocks, guiding his path. He kept his eyes open for the sign. 3 white trees standing together. It took almost an hour. But finally, he saw them. Their bark was pale as bone, glowing softly in the morning light. He stepped into the clearing they marked. Mira was already there, leaning against one of the trees. She wore the same leaf-woven clothing as before, but today she carried a small pouch over her shoulder. You came, she said, her voice calm but with a hint of relief. I said I would, Aaron replied. She studied him for a moment, then motioned for him to follow. We cannot stay here long. Come. They walked deeper into the forest, moving faster than before. Aaron noticed more of the strange carved symbols on stones and tree trunks. Some of them were fresh, their lines sharp and clean. These marks. He said, Are they warnings? Mira nodded. Some are. Others tell of paths, water sources, or meeting places. But yes, many are warnings. My people leave them to guide each other. Guide each other from what? From dangers, she replied simply. And from those who might be watching. Her eyes shifted constantly, scanning the shadows between the trees. It made Aaron think about the drone they had seen 3 days ago. After some time, the forest grew darker. The trees stood closer together, their branches thick overhead. The air here was cooler, almost cold. They reached a wide, mossy slope. At the base of it, half hidden by roots, was an opening, a dark tunnel leading underground. Mira stopped. This way, Aaron hesitated. Where does it go? To a place my people keep hidden. Few outsiders have seen it. You must not tell anyone. He nodded. I promise. The tunnel was narrow at first, the ground soft beneath their feet. Faint glowing moss lit the walls, casting a green light on their faces. They walked in silence for several minutes, before the tunnel widened and the ceiling lifted. Suddenly, they stepped out into a vast underground space. Aaron froze, his eyes wide. It was a city, hidden beneath the forest. Tall structures grew from the ground like living trees, their trunks shaped into homes and halls. Soft streams of water ran between them, and bridges of woven vines connected platforms high above. The air smelled of fresh leaves and cool water. Dim sunlight filtered down through cracks in the rock ceiling, giving the whole place a quiet, dreamlike glow. Aaron turned to Mira, his voice low. This is beautiful. She gave a faint smile. It is our home. As they walked into the city, Aaron noticed curious eyes watching from windows and pathways. The people looked much like Mira. Tall, graceful, with silver-toned skin and bright eyes. But their expressions were wary. 2 figures approached them. One was older, with long hair tied back and a staff in his hand. His silver eyes were sharp and searching. Mira, he said in their language, you have brought an outsider. This is Aaron, she replied. He speaks some of our words. The older man frowned. That is not possible. It is. Mira said calmly. The man turned his attention to Aaron. Where did you learn our tongue? From the carvings in the forest, Aaron replied, his words simple but correct. The man's eyes narrowed. Those carvings are not for you. Aaron held his ground. I only wanted to understand them. I mean no harm. The man's gaze stayed fixed on him for a long moment. Then he said, we will see. Mira led Aaron away before the conversation could turn worse. They crossed a narrow vine bridge over a stream and entered a small open space, surrounded by flowering plants. That was Roa, she explained. He is one of the elders. He does not trust outsiders, not since the old war. Aaron nodded. I could see that. She sat on a low stone bench. Still, you are here now. That is something rare. Aaron looked around at the city. Why bring me here, if it's dangerous? Mira took the thin piece of engraved metal from her pouch. The map he had seen before. Because I think you can help me understand this, if I can understand it. Maybe my people can prepare for what may come. What do you think will come? She hesitated. The same danger that came long ago. Before Aaron could ask more, a sound broke the calm, a faint, metallic hum. It was coming from the tunnel entrance behind them. Mira's expression hardened. She stood quickly. Stay here. She moved to the edge of the open space, looking toward the sound. A moment later, she returned, her voice low. Another drone. It is in the tunnel. Aaron felt a cold weight in his chest. Do they know about this city? Not yet, she said. But if they get close enough, they will. She looked around quickly, then motioned for him to follow. We must take another way out. There are secret paths. They hurried through narrow side passages and up a steep path lined with glowing plants. The hum of the drone grew fainter behind them. Eventually, they emerged in a different part of the forest. Far from the white trees where they had met. Mira stopped to catch her breath. This is why I told you not to speak my language in the open. There are ears that listen, eyes that follow. Aaron nodded slowly. Who are they? Her voice was quiet. I do not know their names. But they are not from here, and they do not come for peace. They stood in silence for a moment, listening to the forest. Somewhere far away, the drone's hum faded completely. Mira looked at Aaron, her expression serious. You have seen my home. You know a piece of our truth. That means you are part of it now. Whether you wish it or not, Aaron met her gaze. Then I'll stand with you. Her eyes softened just a little. We will see if you still say that when the danger comes, without another word. They began walking back towards safer ground, the forest shadows closing around them. The next morning, Aaron was back at the research outpost, but his thoughts stayed in the forest. He could still see the hidden city in his mind, the living tree buildings, the glowing streams. The silent eyes watching him, he tried to focus on his regular work, but every time he typed a report, his mind drifted to Mira and the engraved metal map. He felt like he was standing at the edge of something much bigger than himself. Before sunrise the next day, he left the outpost again. This time, he followed the same secret path Mira had shown him through the forest. The air was cool, carrying the fresh smell of leaves and earth. When he reached the tunnel entrance, Mira was waiting. You came early, she said. I couldn't wait, Aaron admitted. A faint smile crossed her face. Come. Roa wishes to see you again. They walked through the glowing moss tunnels until the city opened before them. This time, Aaron noticed more details, the soft sounds of water running in channels between homes, the gentle hum of wind moving through vine bridges, the low murmur of people speaking in their melodic language. But he also noticed the stairs. Wherever he went, people paused to watch him, some with curiosity, others with open suspicion. Mira led him to a tall structure shaped from a massive tree trunk. Its doorway was framed with symbols carved deep into the wood. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of sap. Roa, the elder, sat on a raised seat made from woven branches. His silver eyes studied Aaron closely. You have walked in our city, Roa said slowly. You have spoken words that belong to us. Now I must know. Why? Aaron stood straight. Because I wanted to understand your history. And now, I think your history may be connected to something that is coming. Roa tilted his head. You think much for someone who knows little. Mira stepped forward. Elder. He has seen the map. He recognized it as such. He may be able to read it. Roa's gaze sharpened. The map? Yes, Mira said. The one from my grandmother. Roa's expression changed, but he hid it quickly. Bring it here. Mira handed him the thin piece of engraved metal. The elder traced the lines with his fingers, then looked at Aaron. If you can read this, even a little, then perhaps it is meant that you have come here. Roa rose from his seat and motioned for them to follow. He led them through a side passage that opened into a vast chamber deep beneath the city. The walls were covered in murals painted in shimmering colors that shifted under the soft light. This is our hall of memory, Roa said. Here we keep the story of our people. Aaron stared at the paintings. They showed scenes of alien cities. Under bright skies, ships crossing the stars, and figures, some alien, some human, standing together. Then the scenes changed. Dark shapes filled the sky. Fire swept across the ground, and battles raged in space and on land. This was the old war, Roa said. We fought alongside other worlds. The enemy came to take what they wanted. They destroyed much, but in the end, we drove them away. Aaron stepped closer to a section where the paintings grew darker. A single figure stood against the enemy, speaking words that shone like light. Behind the figure, both humans and Mira's people fought together. This, Roa said, is the prophecy. It tells of a voice from beyond, someone not of our people, who will speak our tongue in a time of danger. Their voice will unite us again when the enemy returns. Aaron's chest tightened. You think that could be me? Roa's gaze was steady. I think you should not have been able to speak our words, and yet you do. Mira looked at Aaron. The drone we saw, what if it belongs to the same kind of enemy from the old war? Roa nodded slowly. It may be so. We have had signs, strange lights in the sky, tracks in the outer forest. Our hunters whisper of shadows moving at night. Aaron felt a chill. If they are coming, your city is hidden, but not safe forever. That is why we keep the map, Rose said. It may lead to places where our old defenses were kept. But the symbols are ancient. Few among us can read them now. I can try, Aaron said. If I can match these lines to the land, we can find what's there. Roa studied him for a long moment. Very well. Mira will help you. But know this, if you betray our trust, no place in this forest will hide you. I understand, Aaron said. They spent hours in the Hall of Memory, comparing the engraved map with painted landscapes on the walls. Aaron sketched copies in his notebook, marking possible locations. The more he worked, the more certain he felt that the map led to something important. Perhaps an ancient defense system. Perhaps something even more powerful. At one point, Mira leaned close and whispered, I think Roa believes you might truly be the one from the prophecy. But he will not say it aloud until he is sure. Aaron gave a small nod. Prophecy or not, I'll help. If danger is coming, we can't wait. Later, as they walked back toward the main city, Mira paused suddenly. Her ears, pointed slightly at the tips, tilted toward a faint sound. Do you hear that? She asked. Ian listened. At first, he heard nothing but the soft rush of water. Then it came, a faint, steady hum. They exchanged a glance and moved quickly to the nearest high platform. From there, they could see a crack of daylight far above, leading to the surface. Through it, a small dark shape hovered, moving slowly. Another drone. Mira's voice was tense. They're searching again. Aaron's thoughts raced. If they find the tunnels, they will find the city, she finished. They hurried back to Roa and told him what they had seen. The elder's expression was grim. We must prepare. If the enemy has found our forest, it will not be long before they find our home. What will you do? Aaron asked. We will send scouts to follow the drone back to its master, Roa said. But we will also begin moving our people to deeper places until we know more. Aaron felt the weight of what was coming. If you let me, I can warn my outpost. Humans can help. Roa was silent for a moment, then shook his head. Not yet. If the enemy learns humans and my people work together again, they may strike faster. Aaron understood, but the thought of staying silent while danger crept closer made him uneasy. As night fell over the hidden city, Aaron stood on a vine bridge, looking down at the glowing water below. Somewhere in the forest above, machines searched for them, somewhere out there, perhaps. The same enemy from the old war was gathering strength. Mira joined him, her eyes reflecting the dim light. Do you still wish to help us? She asked softly. Yes, Aaron said without hesitation. Whatever comes, I'm with you. She nodded. Then be ready. The time for waiting is ending. Above them, unseen in the darkness, the drone drifted silently away, but not far. The night inside the alien ship was silent, but not peaceful. Rian could feel it. There was something strange in the air, like a quiet warning. He sat near the control panel, watching the blinking lights while the alien woman, Lyra, worked on repairing a damaged section of the ship's systems. She had been more relaxed since the moment she realized he spoke her language. But she was still careful. Rian noticed that she would glance at him from time to time, as if she wanted to say something but was not sure if she should. Finally, she spoke. Rian, there is something you must know. Rian turned to her. What is it? Lyra's eyes lowered, and she hesitated before answering. We are not safe. The one who damaged our ship, he is following us. He will come again. Rian's chest tightened. Who is he? He is called Draven, she said slowly, her voice almost a whisper. He wants something from me, from my people, and he will not stop until he gets it. Rian leaned forward. What does he want? Lyra shook her head. It is not an object, it is knowledge. We carry something very old, a secret my people have kept for many generations. It is Baki, not made of metal, but of code and thought. If Draven gets it, he will control many worlds. Rian thought for a moment. He had heard enough in his life to know that power like that always brought trouble. So we can't let him have it? Lyra nodded slowly. But there is more. The key is inside me. Rian stared at her. Inside you? How? It is hard to explain, she said, looking away. My people can store knowledge within our minds, hidden from machines. Only when we choose can it be shared. That is why Draven wants me alive. Rian's thoughts raced. Then we need to make sure he never catches you. Before Lyra could answer, a warning sound filled the air. The ship's sensors lit up, showing a fast-approaching object. Rian quickly checked the display. It was another ship, moving straight toward them. Lyra's face went pale. It's him? The next few minutes were a blur. Rian helped Lyra move to the controls while she started evasive maneuvers. The alien ship was fast, but Draven's ship was faster. Every few seconds, Rian could feel a low vibration as the enemy's weapons tested the shields. Shields are holding, Lyra said through clenched teeth, but they will not last long. Rian looked at her, his mind racing. Can we hide? Not in open space, she said. But there is a nebula ahead. Its gases will block his scanners for a short time. Then head there, Rian said. I'll think of something. As they flew into the thick, colorful clouds of the nebula, the light outside shifted into strange hues. The sensors became unreliable, showing ghost images and false readings. Rian realized this was their best chance to escape or be caught inside the nebula. The alien ship slowed, moving carefully through the dense gas. Lyra cut most of the power to avoid detection. It became almost dark inside, the only light coming from the dim glow of the control screens. They waited in silence, listening for any sound that might mean Draven was still near. Then, without warning, the ship shook violently. He found us. Lyra gasped. Rian grabbed the edge of the console to steady himself. How? He has a tracking signal on me, she said quickly. I did not know until now. Rian's eyes widened. Then we need to remove it. Where is it? It is in my arm, she said, lifting her sleeve to show a faint, almost invisible mark. Rian didn't waste time. Tell me what to do. Lyra gave him quick instructions, and together they carefully removed the small, hidden device. Once it was out, Lyra threw it into space. Almost immediately, the enemy's ship stopped following their exact path. They had broken the signal, but the danger was not over. Draven's ship still hovered somewhere in the nebula, searching blindly. Rian knew they couldn't stay hidden forever. We need to get out of here, he said. But we need a plan. Lyra took a deep breath. There's a place not far from here. An old station my people used long ago. It is hidden inside an asteroid field. We can rest there. But we must be quick. Rian nodded. Let's go. They powered up the engines again, careful to move slowly at first so the noise wouldn't give away their location. As they drifted toward the edge of the nebula, Rian kept scanning the radar for any sign of pursuit. Finally, the clouds began to thin, and the stars came into view again. In the distance, the dark shapes of the asteroid field loomed. The station was somewhere inside, waiting for them. But as they drew closer, Rian couldn't shake the feeling that Draven was still out there, watching, waiting for the right moment. And he was right. Far behind them, hidden in the shifting gases of the nebula. Draven's eyes followed their every move through a faint, almost invisible trail their ship had left. He smiled to himself. They think they are safe, he whispered. But the game has only begun. The next move would be his. The air inside the alien base grew colder as Aaron and Lyra moved deeper through the long, dim corridors. The walls were made of smooth black stone, and faint lights pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Every sound, their footsteps, the hum of hidden machines, seemed to echo for miles. Lyra walked slightly ahead, her long steps silent and graceful. She carried a small glowing crystal in her hand, its pale light giving them a safe path. They had no time to rest. The message they found in the hidden room was clear. The invaders were coming, and they were coming fast, according to the crystal's data. These invaders had destroyed other planets before. Once they found Earth, they would not stop until nothing was left. Arn's heart beat faster as he remembered the map displayed in the crystal. The path to stop them was not simple. They needed to reach the core room, a place Lyra had only heard about in ancient stories. Inside it, There was a machine built by her ancestors, powerful enough to send a wave across the stars. This wave could shield Earth and Lyra's homeworld, but the machine had been silent for centuries. "How far is it?" Aaron asked, his voice low. "Not far," Lyra said, though her eyes told another story. "But the core room is not unguarded." They turned a corner, and the corridor opened into a massive hall. Broken statues lay scattered on the floor, and the ceiling was so high it disappeared into darkness. The silence was heavy here, and Aaron felt as if unseen eyes were watching. Soft hum filled the air. Slowly, shapes began to appear in the shadows. Tall figures with smooth silver armor, no faces, and long arms that ended in glowing blades. "Sentinels," Lyra whispered, gripping her crystal tighter. The sentinels moved in slow, deliberate steps. Their blades hummed softly, casting thin lines of light on the floor. Aaron's instincts told him to run, but Lyra stepped forward. She spoke. In her language, her voice calm but firm. The sentinels stopped, heads tilting slightly as if listening. "They understand you?" Aaron whispered. "Only a little." She replied. "They were built to obey the guardians of this base. But there are no guardians left. We must pass, or they will test us." "Test us?" Aaron asked. Her answer came in the form of a deep vibration in the floor. A glowing ring formed in the center of the hall, symbols lighting up one by one. "They want to see if we are worthy," Lyra said. Stepping into the ring, Aaron followed, and the sentinels surrounded them. One sentinel stepped forward and raised its blade. But instead of striking, it touched the floor with it. The symbols changed, forming strange patterns. "It's a puzzle," Lyra said. "We must solve it, or they will attack." Aaron looked down. The symbols reminded him of the patterns he had seen in the crystal. Map earlier. Thinking quickly, he moved some of the glowing lines with his foot, connecting them into the same pattern he remembered. Lyra adjusted the last piece, and the ring pulsed with bright light. The sentinels froze, then slowly stepped back. The largest one bowed slightly before turning away, clearing the path ahead. "You did it," Lyra said with a faint smile. "We did it," Aaron corrected. They hurried forward, but as they passed through the next door, the ground shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling, and distant rumbling echoed through the corridors. "They're here," Lyra said, her voice sharp. "The invaders have found the base." They ran. The corridors twisted and turned like a maze, and several times they had to stop to find the correct path. The air grew hotter, and the faint sound of rushing energy came from somewhere deep below. Finally, they reached a huge metal gate covered in strange carvings. Lyra placed the crystal into a slot in the wall, and the gate began to open slowly with a deep, grinding sound. But before it could open fully, a shadow moved behind them. Aaron turned and froze. A tall, insect-like creature stood in the corridor, its eyes glowing a dark red. Its movements were sharp and unnatural, and its thin arms ended in long claws. It hissed, the sound echoing off the walls. More shadows moved behind it. Inside, Lyra shouted. They slipped through the narrow opening just as the first creature lunged. The gate slammed shut with a loud crash, cutting off the invaders. Inside, the core room was unlike anything Aaron had ever seen. The floor was made of glass, and beneath it was a swirling ocean of light. In the center, a massive machine stood, its design both alien and beautiful. Dozens of thin golden wires connected it to the floor and walls. Lyra stepped forward, slowly, almost in awe. "This is it," she whispered. Aaron looked around, feeling the weight of the moment. Somewhere far above them, the invaders were breaking through the base. Time was running out. "Can we start it?" Aaron asked. Lyra placed her hands on the machine's surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then faint lights began to flow through the wires, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. But as the machine awoke, a deep, distant roar filled the air. The ground shook harder than before, and a loud crash echoed from the gate. "They're coming," Aaron said, pulling the small blaster from his side. Lyra looked at him, her eyes steady. "Then we must finish this before they reach us." The lights on the machine grew brighter, and the hum in the room deepened. But above the hum, the sound of metal tearing apart echoed closer and closer. The race was no longer just to start the machine. It was to survive long enough for it to work. The room was filled with a soft humming sound. The alien woman, Leora, stood near the center, her eyes fixed on the glowing device on the table. It was the heart of the station, the core. Without it, the place would lose power and life. Aaron walked slowly toward her. His hands were open, showing he had no weapon. Leora, he said softly, we don't have much time. The core is overheating. If it breaks, everything here will be gone. Leora looked at him, her eyes full of worry. If I give it to you, will you take it to your people? Will they use it for war? Aaron shook his head. No, my people don't even know this technology exists. I want to return it to you, but it needs to be fixed first. For a long moment, neither of them moved. The humming grew louder, and the lights on the walls began to flicker. It felt like the station itself was breathing faster. Leora stepped closer. When I first met you, she said, her voice calm but shaky, I thought you were like all the others, hunters, takers. But you spoke my language, and you listened. Aaron smiled faintly. We listened to each other. Behind them, the sound of boots echoed in the corridor. The other humans, led by Captain Varen, were coming. They wanted the core for themselves. We can't let them have it, Leora whispered. Aaron nodded. Then we need to move now. They ran together down the side passage, the core between them. It was warm, almost alive, and its glow lit the dark path. The air was heavy with the scent of metal and dust. From the main corridor, voices shouted orders. Find them. Don't let them leave. Aaron and Leora reached a small airlock outside. The stars were bright and endless. Leora tapped a small control on her wrist, and a circular craft appeared from the shadows. It was sleek, almost like a silver drop of water. This will take us away, she said. But it can only hold two. Aaron paused. You go. I'll hold them off. Leora shook her head. If you stay, you'll die. If you come, we can protect the core together. They both knew there was no time to argue. Footsteps were getting closer. Aaron climbed into the small craft with her, and the door sealed shut. Through the small window, they saw Captain Varen's team rush into the airlock. His face was red with anger as the craft began to move. You'll regret this, Varen's voice echoed faintly as they pulled away from the station. The craft sped through the blackness of space, stars sliding past like tiny white rivers. Inside, it was quiet except for the soft hum of the core. Leora sat back in her seat and looked at Aaron. You didn't have to come with me, she said. I wanted to, Aaron replied. I think maybe this is not just your fight. It's ours now. She gave him a small, tired smile. Then we fight together. They didn't know where their path would lead, to peace or to more danger. But they knew they had made the right choice. Behind them, the station shrank into the distance until it was only a point of light among billions. Ahead of them, the galaxy waited, full of unknown worlds and challenges. Leora placed her hand gently on the core. It's safe now, she whispered. For as long as we protect it. Aaron looked at her, then at the endless stars. Let's hope we're ready. The craft vanished into the deep night, carrying with it two lives, one hope, and the fragile bond between two very different worlds. A bond that might one day change the fate of both.